I'm just curious, how many actual training sessions have you guys had over the last week since the season started?
Like real training
real
sessions?
training sessions.
Yeah, I would say we haven't.
Yeah.
Ever since we came back from preseason because of the weather, and then, the weather was the biggest factor, but then the close proximity of games that didn't allow us either because of travel and everything else. But it's good to have this week. Very good.
I think having guys like Manu, Dayan, and Shapi perform where they have, considering that, I'm just curious if are you maybe higher on how quickly their progression has been so far, considering all the circumstances?
It's a good positive sign that all those guys have fit in well and are connecting with each other quicker than probably expected. I thought I maintain it. Obviously having watched the game a couple times. If you just look at us as that half went on and how we were really clicking towards the end of that half, not to say that there weren't in other parts of it, but we were all over them. I thought we were going to get another goal at that point before we went at halftime. It was just trending itself in a really good way. It's a shame a few of the yellow cards that we received because it forced us to make changes that we probably wouldn't have at that time. Because you're still trying to keep consistency, and now when you change guys, it's change for everyone, right? And not having training and everything else also affects that. So this is good. It's good to have this week that we have.
What is Bartlett showing you that he's gotten so much playing time?
He has a very good, he has a really good instincts for the position, especially when we're playing just the number 6. He reads the game well. He's technically very good on both feet. And he has a really good sense for the tempo of the game, to receive the ball from one side to play to the other. And he does that. He does that part really, really well. And then the final piece is I think he's extremely coachable. You can talk to him about whether it's little details or little nuances for the upcoming opponent or just in the position. And he tends to comprehend it very quickly and also has the ability to implement it pretty quickly as well.
We talked to Ian a little bit a while ago. He got a few minutes at the end of the Miami game. What did he do to maybe earn that little bit of time there?
Well, I think the good word is earned. It's the right word because we wouldn't throw him on the field if we didn't think that he was progressing in a good way, and he has been. He's worked very hard. He's another one that listens and is really trying to implement a lot of stuff that we went over in preseason, and he's growing from there. And so I would say that he'll get opportunities as the season goes on for sure because he's capable, and at the same time, it's impressive for a kid his age to be able to play the way that he does in the position.
You've talked about seeing Jake as a midfielder, and I know the situation right now has had him playing at right back. But what does he bring in the midfield that makes you feel like, okay, that's his spot?
Well, I think sometimes you come across players that are comfortable in certain areas of the field. Some guys are okay with, they actually really enjoy being next to the line. Mm-hmm. And there's other guys that like to be in the middle, but they need to have an end point. So you're either defender or forward. Mm-hmm. And then other guys are 360. And I think there's sometimes a little chaos in that part of the field. He's got a great work ethic. He's got good instincts in, when he puts himself in good positions to go win the ball back. And then he also is at times really aggressive in the right moments to go and take risks. And you have to in this game. And he does a good job of that at times, especially on the offensive side.
Is Jake really good at creating that chaos that's there?
I think I understand why you're saying it the way you're saying it, but I think he is. You have to be willing to go and challenge for things, and like I said, I think if you just play if you just play a conservative game all the time, I don't think that you don't get the risk for reward, right? You just don't get that reward, and so he's a guy that he takes it upon himself at times to turn a 40-60 ball into 100% that he wins it, right? And those are the kinds of risks that you want and you can take at times in that part of the field. I think he feels a lot more comfortable there because when you're on the back line, you have to think about it in a much different way, because a lot of times you're the last stand before it gets to the goal. So you have to think about the game and also the way you go about actions in a different way.
There have been a number of times in these games earlier in the season that you guys have like really dictated the pace of play for portions of the game, but that finishing touch just hasn't been there. How do you kind of assess that?
I think some of it is just it's form. I mean, the guys are coming into our team that, some of them had half of a preseason, some of them had none, and so now they're coming into your team and they got to find form. I don't know if it's, I think sometimes, look, you can say finishing touch. I think when we put a full game together, where we're not in a situation where we're not chasing the game, and that where we can rely on some of the chances that we create through the run of play or what have you, I think you'll see a little different. But I think this team needs a little bit of time to get there. But there's no doubt that, in regards to Daniel's question earlier, it's probably a lot faster than some of us expected on some of the things have gelled together.
It's a different approach trying to integrate those guys by essentially playing games than it is in a preseason.
It is, because, you can go over the years that we've brought players in. Normally speaking, we have those players in before we even start preseason. So you got that whole runway to kind of get them prepared and really have a good understanding. And you get a lot of things, not just games, but you get a lot of training to play with those guys, to sort of get them indoctrinated to what you want to do. And it's much harder when you're just doing it. And also when we had, the 4 games in over that 2-week period, where it was difficult was you really had the training to even do that. You're kind of doing it in a ballroom of a hotel. Those situations for them are a lot different because they're not on the field.
Eric's worn the armband for the first 4 games. I don't know that you guys have formally announced a captain. I'm just curious, is there...
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not. He has been. He's been a good. I would say, in his own way, he's been a good leader thus far. He exemplifies a lot of really good things, and that his constant work ethic, his professionalism every day. Mm-hmm. So we'll continue to see how that moves and how we decide to do that as we move forward. But he's been for sure the right person at the moment for that.
Is there something more you're looking for to like officially name a captain, or
no? Just not so. I'm not so interested in trying to. It's not something I'm rushing to do. It's not. I don't think it's that important, because we have games, and sometimes a guy might not play and a guy might play at the moment. And then with this captain's rule, that also changes it as well. For teams that have a goalkeeper as their captain, they have to designate a guy on the field. I mean, there's all this other stuff. So I'm not so in such a rush. But the guys know that he's the guy right now.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.